I confess. I cried the first time I saw How to Train Your Dragon, more than I'd care to admit as a guy in his 20s. While John Powell's exceptional score played a big part in evoking my emotions, it's the compelling story of a boy named Hiccup, who, despite all odds, becomes the unconventional hero of his village, that touches me on an entirely different level. Though Hiccup's journey drives a seemingly simple plot, filled with common themes we've seen 1,000 times over, there's something ineffably unique and memorable about this film. It's no wonder the movie spawned a successful trilogy, a live-action sequel, and numerous TV shows and specials. Over the next 15 minutes or so, I hope to vindicate my tears by exploring the hidden meaning and themes that pervade this surprisingly profound and beloved film. The movie begins in medias res.
Dragons.
Immediately revealing and foreshadowing the central themes and dynamics. It seems like the usual tropes. An insecure boy with a strict father he wants to please, and a beautiful girl he'd like to impress. Tries to become a hero by killing dragons. And what do you know? He makes his father proud, gets the girl, and saves the village from dragons. Well, kind of. It's this unexpected resolution, coupled with Hiccup's unique transformative journey, that makes this film truly special in my mind. So, what are the essential steps Hiccup took to transform himself and those around him? Before answering this question, I would like to outline 3 psychological realities to better understand Hiccup's inner transformation and how these truths manifest in our lives. The true self.
Barmaid, I'm afraid
The
you
false
brought me
self.
the wrong offspring. I ordered an extra large boy with beefy arms, extra guts and...
And Carl Jung's shadow. These concepts are closely related and unavoidable parts of every human being. Our aim should be to rediscover the entire true, authentic self lost in childhood by stripping away the false self, which suppresses the unconscious shadow. Only by integrating the repressed parts of the shadow do we become fully ourselves. This dynamic is wonderfully depicted through Hiccup's character, helping us understand these complex ideas. Let's see how Hiccup integrates parts of his shadow and inches closer to his true self.
This is Burke. It's 12 days north of hopeless and a few degrees south of freezing to death.
The detailed opening scene serves as a foundation for the film's events. It subtly outlines the complex psychological dynamics driving the plot. Hiccup's monologue symbolically reveals the underlying problem plaguing Burke.
We have fishing, hunting, and a charming view of the sunsets. The only problems are the pests.
On first viewing, we're led to believe that, aside from poor weather, the only thing stopping Burke from being an idyllic paradise are the pesky, Viking-killing dragons. Little do we know dragons, when treated properly, are loving, friendly, and useful to the Vikings. The village's unwillingness to accept this truth is a perfect analogy for the shadow, and how it functions on a collective and personal level. As long as the shadow remains unconscious and unintegrated, it acts as an internal adversary, causing us to fight unwinnable battles against ourselves. We see this pattern in Burke's and Hiccup's initial relationship with the dragons.
Either we finish them or they'll finish us. It's the only way we'll be rid of them.
The dragons, or the Vikings' shadow, are seen as foes rather than allies when integrated. The Vikings think they must defeat the dragons to find peace in Burke. But the shadow isn't something to be destroyed. Instead, it's the opposite. It must be embraced as part of ourselves. The opening scene shows what aspects of the Vikings' psyche are repressed into the shadow. They value physical strength, pride, ferocity, and power.
It taught me what a Viking could do, Gobber. He could crush mountains, level forests, tame seas.
Projecting their excesses of these qualities on the supposedly evil dragons, while despising weakness, frailty, creativity, and humility. Everything Hiccup embodies.
If you ever want to get out there to fight dragons, you need to stop all this.
But you just pointed to all of me.
This leaves Hiccup at the bottom of the Viking ladder. Everyone in Burke sees him as a nuisance, showing him little respect or appreciation.
Hiccup! What is he doing out again? What are you doing out? Get inside!
A Viking's worth depends on how many dragons they kill.
Because killing a dragon is everything around here.
Hiccup hasn't killed one, and worse, he's the son of the admired dragon-slaying chief, whose opinion of Hiccup isn't much different from the other villagers. Hiccup has no choice but to adapt to the environment and societal pressure in which he was raised. Like everyone else, he's governed by the collective shadow, hoping to prove himself by the village's values.
Gronkles are tough. Taking down one of those would definitely get me a girlfriend.
And as a result, be noticed by the other villagers, his crush, and his father.
Please, 2 minutes. I'll kill a dragon. My life will get infinitely better. I might even get a date.
Our society is similar to Burke. We carry a shadow dictating which principles and characteristics are cherished and which are suppressed. We often value success over generosity, intellect over heart, conformity over uniqueness, honor over humility, and strength over gentleness. Like Hiccup, all of us try to satisfy society's impossible demands, resulting in a hopeless battle against the shadow on both the collective and personal levels.
Come on. Give me something to shoot at. Give me something to shoot at.
Lacking strength, Hiccup uses his smarts to target the infamous
Get down!
which symbolically epitomizes the shadow's qualities: dark-colored, nearly invisible, and wreaking havoc at will.
No one has ever killed a Night Fury. That's why I'm gonna be the first.
It's no accident that Hiccup is the first Viking to strike down a Night Fury, and in a way, begin the shadow integration, as he carries the repressed elements of the collective psyche. For these qualities to flourish, Hiccup must first learn to accept himself as he is, fragile, awkward, but also creative, smart, and kind. Ironically, his mentor, Gobber, inadvertently offers advice that foreshadows the film's central theme.
Stop trying so hard to be something you're not.
I just want to be one of you guys.
Hiccup is ecstatic to find the stricken Night Fury. Immediately, his mind floods with thoughts of what this fortunate achievement could bring. He'd finally be the hero he's desperately desired to be for so long. His father would be proud of him. He might find a girlfriend. And others would treat him with respect for a change.
I did it. Oh, I did it. This fixes everything. Yes!
All he has to do is kill the dragon, and these temporal rewards would be his for the small price of losing himself, who he is. This moment highlights the core struggle within Hiccup and all of us. The temptation to gain what the world values at the cost of our authenticity and true freedom. If Hiccup were to kill the Night Fury, he'd continue living through the masks and false self he built for his father and society, remaining a slave to their expectations and demands. The extent of this interior bondage is made clear when Hiccup intends to kill the dragon.
I'm gonna kill you, dragon. I'm gonna cut out your heart and take it to my father.
Pretty dark for a kid's movie, right? Well, that's Hiccup's unintegrated shadow speaking. The repressed parts of the psyche are darker than we might think. I already mentioned that the Night Fury, or Toothless from now on, represents Hiccup's personal shadow, but the dragon also serves as a reflection, a mirror of Hiccup's true self. This is further established later on when Hiccup gives his reason for not killing Toothless.
I wouldn't kill him because he looked as frightened as I was. I looked at him, and I saw myself.
When Hiccup says he will cut out the dragon's heart and bring it to his father, he's talking about his own heart.
I'm a Viking. I am a Viking!
He wants to offer himself, his authentic self, as a sacrifice to his father in the hope that he receives his love and pride. His entire life, Hiccup has been repeating this same sacrifice, killing, repressing, and suffocating his true self, and propping up a false persona in the hope of satisfying the demands of his father and others.
Which means you walk like us, you talk like us, you think like us. No more of this.
But today is different. He catches a glimpse of what's been lost and makes a leap of faith by cutting Toothless loose, symbolizing the start of his shadow's liberation and its ensuing proper assimilation into the conscious self. The rest of the film revolves around Hiccup's friendship with Toothless, a catalyst for his transformation into someone real. We see him inhabit two lives, one with Toothless, where bonding and caring for the dragon helps him love, accept, and integrate his suppressed shadow parts. This can be seen as Hiccup's inner life, his interior journey of discovering his true self. When Toothless draws scribbles on the ground, we see Hiccup have to navigate the maze. leading him directly in front of the dragon. In an act of faith, Hiccup reaches out to touch the Night Fury, illustrating Hiccup's convoluted descent into his unconscious self and his eventual encounter with his shadow. He reaches his inner depths not through conflict and strength of will, but by acceptance and letting go of his fears and anxious thoughts to touch and feel, to experience what it means to be alive.
It's go time.
This is demonstrated even better in the test drive scene, when Hiccup falls off Toothless, who can't fly without Hiccup's help. In the ensuing scramble, they manage to reunite, culminating in Hiccup flying Toothless without the cheat sheet for his makeshift wing. A statement of letting go of the controlling ego, which inevitably leads to the authentic experience of finally living, of at last feeling real for once, of being in the present moment and not in some escape fantasy of self-delusion. The physical symbiosis between Hiccup and Toothless flawlessly exemplifies the Shadow's integration. No longer a separate, chaotic, hostile entity. Rather, it has reunited with the self, producing harmony and wholeness.
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Hiccup's other external life has been affected by his secret adventures. His friendship with Toothless has taught him everything there is to know about dragons. They're not as scary as one might think when you get to know them, just like our shadows. His newly gained knowledge helps him excel in dragon training, unintentionally making him a star in the village and winning his father's pride. Astrid, on the other hand, suspicious of Hiccup's success, discovers him with Toothless. At first, she's frightened out of her mind, but with a little convincing, she reluctantly accepts Hiccup's offer to ride with them.
I am not listening to anything you have to say.
Then I won't speak. Just let me show you.
This time, Hiccup doesn't try to impress her with empty words or deeds. He's content showing her the full truth about himself, regardless of what she might think. And it works.
It's amazing. He's amazing. That's for everything else.
Excuse me for the cheesiness. Back to more serious topics. The short sequence showed us how ironic it is that we change and hide ourselves in an attempt to win others over, only for it to have the exact opposite effect. Even if our little experiment succeeded, we would have to maintain our false persona in the hope they don't discover the true us. Doesn't sound like a good bargain if you ask me. It turns out our authenticity draws people in and also allows them to be themselves around us. Then we learn that we're much cooler than we could have ever imagined.
All right, I admit it. This is pretty cool.
However, not everyone is as quick to accept our authentic selves like Astrid, particularly not those closest to us. The time has come for Hiccup to stand up against the primitive and toxic ways of the village. He is ready to confront the collective shadow and the simple-minded belief system predicated on war, an unrestrained worship of honor, and an aversion to any semblance of weakness.
Oh, great. Who let him in?
Hiccup wants to show them there is another way to live, founded on peace, acceptance, kindness, and most importantly, love. Despite his admirable courage to rise above the pressures of his father and society and face the dragon symbolically and physically, he underestimates the madness of the mob.
Stop the fight!
They fail to recognize Hiccup's message to them, resorting to old ways, leaving Hiccup more ostracized than ever.
You're not a Viking. You're not my son.
With his best friend captured, disowned by his father, and an outcast of the village again, Hiccup is left with nothing. He asks himself the question we often ask ourselves when we fall into despair and lose all hope.
Why couldn't I have killed that dragon when I found him in the woods? Would have been better for everyone.
We can't help but empathize with and understand Hiccup's situation and musings. I mean, we've all been there before. Whether it be a job, project, relationship, or our own journey of self-discovery and spiritual transformation. We found ourselves doubting our choices to begin with, asking ourselves whether it would have been better to stay in the cozy comfort zone, safe from our fears and dangerous inner dragons that lurk within, content with our emotionless, bland, purposeless, and unfulfilling existence. Deep down, we know why we started on our journeys. Something or someone was calling us to break free and experience the fullness of our being, to go out and change for the better, not only ourselves, but the world around us.
Would have been better for everyone.
Yep, the rest of us would have done it. So why didn't you?
Oh, for the love of... I was a coward. I was weak. I wouldn't kill a dragon.
I bet he's really frightened now. What are you gonna do about it?
Astrid asks all the right questions, opening Hiccup up to the answers he so desperately needed.
Then something crazy.
That's more like it.
He finds the strength and wisdom to lead his unlikely team to save Toothless and the Vikings from the terrifying Queen Dragon. The dragon's hive mind mentality of serving their queen to their detriment is strikingly similar to how the Vikings function on a subconscious level. The Vikings are servants to the conformal aspects of the village, sacrificing their true selves to the unhealthy demands of the collective shadow, while Toothless and Hiccup are the saviors, not willing to conform to the status quo. Hiccup heroically leads the assault against the queen, and after a lengthy fight, defeats the enormous dragon, winning over the hearts of all the Vikings, including his father.
I'm proud to call you my son.
Thanks, Dad.
Toothless poetically saves Hiccup from certain death, with Hiccup losing his leg as a consequence, which only cements the symbolism of the integration of the shadow into the conscious self, with both Hiccup and Toothless needing each other to create a whole, perfect in their imperfections. In the end, he gets the girl, his father's love, the village's acceptance, a best friend, and most importantly, he gets himself, that which is worth more than all the riches and power the world can offer.
Turns out all we needed was a little of this.
You just gestured to all of me.
That about sums it up perfectly. The world doesn't need another fake, inauthentic clone that follows the demands of a sick society. It needs you to be truly you and me to be truly me, with all of our flaws and weaknesses, but also our strengths and talents. That is what moves the world forward. That is what is worth defending. We then begin to live by the laws of kindness and love, rather than power and pride. This shift is exemplified in Hiccup's closing monologue, where he inverts what he said in his opening statement.
The only problems are the pests. The only upsides are the pets.
The dragons are no longer pests, but pets. And though Burke is cold, bland, and rainy, it does not matter, because they found what is truly important. That which can't be bought or stolen, but discovered and cherished forever.
This is Burke. Any food that grows here is tough and tasteless. The only upsides are the pets. We have dragons.